with India, China, the rivalry between China and India and the influence in Sri Lanka becoming a major discussion, government after government, we're also now talking about Trump across the world, trade wars and Trump's policies, especially for Sri Lanka. What leverage do we have? Do we have leverage as a geopolitical hotspot, or as a country with that kind of location, important strategic location in the global maritime route? Also, America, Sri Lanka's largest trading partner. Where should we look to now if we're going to run into issues with Trump's policies?
Okay, so I think first let's look at America. President Trump has, as he did in his first term, he's undertaking a tariff war. Sri Lanka enjoys a trade surplus of I think 300% with America. When you look at the figures though, it's inconsequential in terms of the larger picture for the American economy. So I think we have a little bit of breathing space. How long that's going to last, I don't know, but we have a little bit of breathing space. But that's closing off to us, that market. We need to look elsewhere. As I mentioned earlier, the Indian Ocean and Asia as a whole is seeing the power shift economically and politically in their favor. We are an Asian nation, we're an Indian Ocean nation. We have to play to our strength. Now, for so long, people have always said, oh, Sri Lanka has a strategic location, they can play an integral role in the region. And that's all correct. Unfortunately, we have not gone beyond talk. What is our location and how can we leverage it? We are just a few nautical miles south of India. South India has been, and for the last couple of years, it was a policy that was pursued in 22 of economic integration of Sri Lanka's economy with South India. South India's economy is growing faster than the rest of India. It is a marketplace that is there for the taking for us. We don't need to worry about, okay, if we enter into an enhanced free trade agreement with India, that, Indian workers are going to come down here and take all our jobs. Sri Lankan market is nowhere near big enough for them to focus on. However, we have the opportunity to look that northwards and take advantage of that economy. Secondly, Sri Lanka has the potential of being a linchpin in that sense for the region to expand on its integration. Thankfully, we still have good relations with most countries in the region. We are able to go and engage with Pakistan, with India, with Bangladesh, with Indonesia, with Australia, you name it, we have relations with those countries. It's essential that we build on those relations, and we also demonstrate that Sri Lanka can be a stepping stone to another country in the region. So, for example, Sri Lanka, should we go on and integrate our economy with South India's? It's a marketplace that, as I said, for Sri Lanka alone, we can't fill it. But it presents an opportunity for other countries in the region to then come via Sri Lanka as a stepping stone into the Indian market. So, the positioning of Sri Lanka is there both geopolitically and physically. It's a case of whether are we ready to shrug off the old ways of focusing on a bit more of a closed economy, looking westward, and recognize that we are very much an Asian nation in everything, not just name, and realign ourselves that way. Unfortunately, two of the biggest markets being India and China, we have huge trade imbalances with them, and it's not in any way shifting in size. I'd just like to bring this up. I mean, let's take our energy sector. Sri Lanka's energy sector has a huge potential in renewable energy. And India is going to face energy shortages in the coming years. We have discussed, and we have been discussing this since the 1980s, of connecting our national grid with India's national grid with the purpose of Sri Lanka selling energy to India. If you take our renewable energy in terms of wind and solar, studies which were carried out in 22 show estimates varying from 40 gigawatts up to 70 gigawatts. We don't need anywhere near that amount to power the country. We have excess if we develop the sector where we can then export it, making Sri Lanka an energy hub for the region. Unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, we saw the Adani Group announce their withdrawal from the wind energy project in Mannar. Now, I understand that the government had their concerns with the agreement, but the onus is on them not to close the door there. They absolutely must go back and talk to them, raise their concerns, and see how they can reach a common ground. Because it is not just the Adani Group, it is every international energy player is going to look at Sri Lanka and say, no, it is just too much hassle. Because we are looking at, it's not a 2-3 year return on investment, these are 20 years return on investment. So those companies and that sector needs to have confidence that Sri Lanka is ready to integrate and to open ourselves out to a market that is far bigger than the Sri Lankan market.